Oop, wrong button. What a mess. This morning. You know, I'm doing something new this morning, Fitzy. I'm not looking.
That's always good to start the week.
I'm going to look up right now. All right, the national days today. So it's National... Oh, that's a good one. That's an easy one. National Smile Day today.
Oh.
That's perfect for our show. Let's see. Well, anything that deals with firefighters, put a smile on my face. And industrial safety sells and services practically everything that goes into a fire station and on a firefighter. So that puts a smile on my face. But did you know that they also do kitchen suppression system maintenance, inspection, and installs? For more information about all their services they provide, visit their website at industrialsafetystore.com. Yeah.
That's fair. I would have thought, your friends at Lake's team would buy you a new house. I would put a smile on your face.
I totally should have done that.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is good Lord. National Necrotizing Fasciitis Awareness Day.
Yes, we'll skip that one.
If you need to grab your laptop and Google what that is, wouldn't it be great to do it on your new table or new house? That's what we would do, and we recommend our friends from the Wisconsin Lakes team. Anyone can say that they're an agent, but not everyone treats their clients as they would like to be treated, and that's what Aaron and Katie do. Find out more by visiting lakesteamwi.com. That isn't... Oh, come on. Got to give me a little... What do you do with that? Good. National Fasci... I don't even know what that is, so I don't mean making light of. I'm sure it's a serious thing, but...
I like that you said if you want to look that up on your laptop on your new table. That was really good.
Oh, see? Look at this. It's National... You just put a smile on my face. It's National Smile Day. And it's Positive Tuesday, of course.
That's right.
All right, cool. And let's get going. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, May 3rd. Oh, last day of the month, May 31st, 2022.
Yep.
For Barron, I got that one right. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden. We're being joined by Washburn County Clerk of Court Shannon Anderson today on Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, which is presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work in roofing, garages, siding, window installations, kitchen and bathroom remodeling, vinyl and hardwood flooring, and they can even build your house or business from the ground up. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 520-2271. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. I can't wait to learn about... to have Shannon on. We're talking like she's not on the show right now. I can't wait to have her on the show because I don't really know. Kind of like with Drusha, I don't really know what she does. She's told me, but I lose interest. My ADHD kicks in, and 10 seconds later, whatever. I know she answers calls and emails, so I can't wait to find out more. Shannon, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Where are you with your... Where are you?
I'm in my dining room at home still.
Fancy. Nice. What's that picture behind you?
It's a deer picture.
Oh, deer. There we go.
I live in northern Wisconsin. It's a must-have.
There you go. I love it. All right, so Fitzy, positive things or what's been happening? How was your weekend?
You know what? Pretty quiet. I didn't get interrupted in the middle of the night at all. Pretty safe day on the roads and the lakes and on our trails. So it's a great weekend. There's a lot of people in jail, but I didn't get woke up a lot. So I guess that's a good thing.
So nothing major.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure when Shannon gets to the office, she'll be excited. There's probably a lot of people in jail in Washburn County.
Yeah, so we had I missed you. I was hoping you were going to stop down if you had time on Sunday, the fundraiser for the 4th of July or 3rd of July fireworks in Shell Lake. We did that on Sunday. Warren Tuttle was there. That was nice to see Dad, because I always like seeing cops talk, right? And I don't know what they're talking about. I just like seeing them interact, and kind of neat seeing the old school and prospective candidate for sheriff. It was just kind of neat to see. The weather wasn't super great, so I don't know. We'll find out how well it did when we go to the fireworks this year. They light off one, and then the loudspeakers. Well, that's it, folks. See, you didn't turn out for the fundraiser, so suck it, go home. Maybe next year you show up to the fundraiser.
Probably not. You probably did pretty good.
Oh, see, Peg's on it.
Yeah.
It is National Smile Day. Shannon, how was your weekend?
It was good, full of graduation parties
Oh,
and
right.
gardening.
Gardening. Yeah. You really into gardening or just I have nothing else to do?
Um, Getting ready for next weekend for Washco Grows.
Oh, right. We've done stories on that. You've sent
Yeah,
stories on that. I forgot all about it.
I have.
Yeah. So
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
Washco Grows is an initiative under Community First Washburn County to build 10 community gardens in Washburn County. So
Awesome.
we're building them at senior centers, at town halls, food pantries. The art center here in Shell Lake is going to have one. So just building those and going to do that at the Family Fest this weekend.
All right. Washburn County Family Festival is this weekend. Man, we got a whole bunch of things. I love Fitzy, you love this time of year.
I do. I got a big weekend. It's dairy breakfast, the Barron County Dairy Breakfast. I'm flipping pancakes at 5 a.m., baby. It's awesome.
I thought it started at 6.
Oh, it does, but I'll be there early. Get
All right.
ready.
We're thinking of coming down.
I got to get the perfect grill, and I got to beat the county administrator because
Jeff.
he's not good at flipping pancakes. So I'm the
That's
best.
what he tells me.
Yeah, well, he lies.
He's a compulsive liar. What can I say?
Not when it comes to county stuff, just pancakes.
Just pancakes. Yeah, so we want to obviously get to Shannon here, but first, anytime we do these shows, we want to go through any press releases you've sent or any articles we've done. We did an updated article from one of your press releases in 2021, and the headline was Woman Sentenced on Conviction of Fleeing Law Enforcement. The court had sentenced Jamie O'Dash of Barron on a conviction of fleeing law enforcement stemming from a pursuit that occurred in 2021 in Barron County. She received 3 years. I think it's a she. I don't know. It just says Jamie. Okay. Yep. 3 years probation, 6 months conditional jail time, imposed in state sentence 3.5 years on one conviction. The other one was 3 years probation, imposed in state sentence of 2 years to run concurrently. What were your thoughts when you saw that? Were you happy with that outcome?
I hadn't seen the outcome till I saw this morning. It's a pretty good sentence. If I remember that one, that was a pretty good chase across the county.
Yep.
Anytime you put people at risk, I think you should go to jail for that. I see they got 6 months jail, 3 years probation. It's probably okay. I mean, it's probably not the best, but it's probably better than some I've probably seen. So
at least there is a decent, there's like 20 days in jail. I was happy with that. And again, we don't know everything. I'm not sitting in that courtroom.
Right.
But yeah, I was kind of okay
Maybe
with that.
We should rate these like we do your national days. Like,
yeah, we'll see it. Let's see how fast.
6 out of a 10.
Yeah, we'll see how fast the district attorneys and judges no longer return my calls.
This is a 2 out of a 7. No.
Yeah, that's probably not good. Shannon, do you think that's a good idea? Should we start rating these things?
Probably not.
Okay, I'm gonna default to her because
Good advice.
Yeah, that's probably good advice. All right, so Shannon, oh, there's your phone again. I'm so excited to learn more about what you do there at the Clerk of Court's office. Anytime we have a guest on, whether it's this show or I do a standalone show, I kind of have my routines. I don't really look into anything about them until at 7:30. It's about 45 minutes before we start sending the links to join the show. Well, obviously, you don't have like a web page or something. I mean, like you, Shannon Anderson website. So I went onto the Washburn County's page this morning, and I will put this. I think I can put that in a comment. Maybe it didn't work. I'll try to put in a comment. Oh, there it goes. It's very long, so I'm not going to put that on the screen. But there's a ton of things that it says on the Clerk of Court's office, is statutory, mandatory, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. How about we just start with one? How long have you been there? How long have you had that position? It's an elected position.
It is. I have been in this position since being appointed in 2017. I've been in the clerk's office since 2011 and with Washburn County for 17 years now.
Oh, my goodness. What did you do before that, out of curiosity?
I worked at economic support over in Health and Human Services.
What? Nice. Fitzy doesn't like that department.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, I guess he does. So no day is the same.
Correct.
But an average day. You get to work, turn the lights on, turn the computers on, log in if that's a thing. what do you do? Walk us through just a day. I think that'll give us a better understanding.
Our phones ring right away at 8:00. People calling in. What time do I have court? Can I appear by Zoom now?
Oh, right.
Really just anything. And people are usually at the counter right away at 8:00 to pay their fines, to file paperwork, seeing what came in the night before.
What do you
seeing
mean
how many
come
bail
in
bonds
the
we
night
have
before?
for the day.
What do you mean come in the night before? Like checks?
Well, attorneys can file anything overnight because on e-filing there's 24/7. So there's filings out there right away in the morning. You'd be surprised how many attorneys work at midnight.
So what does that mean? Filing what? Like what role does a clerk of court's office play in that system?
Sure.
I thought that just goes to the district attorney's office.
When
No.
when Fitzy's office has criminal complaints or criminal traffic, those go to the district attorney's office for a review. But say divorces, probate, small claims, those types, and traffics and forfeitures, they come through our office in a portal, and we have to process them and put them on CCAP so that the Ben Drydens of the world.
So I can see them. So you're the ones that put those on there. Thank you for
Correct.
doing that. By the way, what's probate?
Probate is estates, guardianships.
Oh, sure. Fitzy knew that. I can see him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew that.
Because I'm also the registrar in probate, so I do all of probate estates.
Is that part of does that
Wills.
fall under the umbrella of a clerk of court?
Not in all offices, no. In most counties, they're separated, but in ours, we consolidated in 2017, so I do both.
So, all right. More work, less money. Love it. So you do that stuff in the mornings. Then what do you do when it comes? Does it make a difference if there's a trial?
It does. It
And
does.
how?
Jury trials are all hands on deck. I have 3 amazing staff members. We are all up and running. It does take all 4 of us to run a jury trial. You've got jury check-in. You've got pretrial motions before a jury trial. Just odds and ends that happen, glitches, technology glitches, working with the bailiffs, security, stuff like that. So those are really busy days. Everybody's there early. With COVID rules, we were there really super early just because we had a lot more to put in place. On a regular day, it depends on how many judges we have. Sometimes we have 2, sometimes we just have 1, and sometimes it's just in and out of court. Like I said, I have 3 staff members, and they'll go into court for their case types, and then they type the minutes, they swear in the witnesses, and then that all goes on CCAP as well.
So when I look at those, so how my process works, I think most people know it, so I won't go into the details of it, but if somebody calls and says, hey, this person was arrested, it's thanks, but I can't do anything with it because I base it all on public record and documents. So whether someone's arrested or not, that's why I don't even look at the jail booking reports because I don't care. I can't do anything with that. I wait for CCAP, and I search it twice a day in 6 different counties for certain things that we look for. I find it, I request it. That's why, I email you. Which, by the way, I have another one I have to email after this. Then you send that back to me. Then I have the document. The first thing that I do, though, is then I go and I look on CCAP under that case, under the notes. So it's your office is the one that's putting in those notes.
Correct.
I didn't know who actually put those in.
Yeah, the clerks put those in. They're not the official court record. They're just kind of a little synopsis of what happened during that court hearing.
So
the
Ben,
court
what do you
reporter takes
request?
down
Ben, you request a criminal complaint? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man, I didn't say the criminal complaint part. Yeah, so I have to wait until something, and as you know, Fitzy and Shannon, sometimes it takes a while. Depends on how busy they are right now. It depends on how. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but if somebody's arrested for, I don't know, we're going to use you for the first time, Fitzy. Because you always use me. Yeah. So now you are operating a drug house.
Okay.
Okay. He's like, all right, I get that. So you're operating a drug house, and then, they get arrested. So maybe there's a booking report out there or with your photo on it, or maybe not, but, it's out there. Mm-hmm. But it takes a while for law enforcement to finish their reports, do all their things. Then they send that to the district attorney's office. Then it takes a while, sometimes 2 days, sometimes 3 weeks. It's just, there's a lot of variables there. Then when they finish, we still don't see it. The public still doesn't see it as far as I know. then that goes to, my understanding was, clerk of court's office. Then they load it into CCAP. That's when I see it. So that's the only thing I look for. So sometimes we do a story about a 3-week-old incident, but it just actually became a public document today. So then we'd have that finished by tomorrow.
That is correct. That's how it works.
You're correct in how you do your job, Ben. Yes, you're correct. Oh, it's so nice to have you on, Shannon. I got to deal with this guy every week, just two of us. All right, so when you do have that jury trial, how far behind do you get? I mean, some of these jury trials, isn't just a 2-hour long. Maybe it's 3 days. I think what is a typical jury trial like? I know there isn't a typical, but 3 days, kind of an average one, right?
Your bigger felonies, yes, they'll take 3 days. It kind of depends on how much evidence, how many witnesses they may have. That kind of is what plays a role in how many days. So a criminal one will typically go from 1 to 3 to 5. Civil cases are usually 3 to 5, just because they're talking about either a medical claim or a land dispute.
Sure.
Stuff like that. But jury trials are always at least 1 day. Even for a traffic ticket, it takes us, at 8:30, the jurors arrive and they sign in. They get told to go sit in the large courtroom. I come in, I give them a orientation on what jury trial is going to entail, what it's going to look like for the day. See if they have any questions. Make sure they got their cell phones off. They know where the bathrooms are. They know who the staff is, the bailiff, so that they're not talking to witnesses, and that can cause an issue with the jury trial.
Yeah, and honestly, I never thought about that. Somebody needs to explain this. Because if I just walk in, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, hey, how's it going? It's like, you can't talk to that person. So you're coordinating a lot of this stuff.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No,
and so in the background, in another room, the parties and the judge are meeting to do any pretrial motions. Say it's a criminal complaint and the person has prior acts. So they'll talk about which prior acts can come in and which ones can't. Those kind of logistic things. And then about 9:30, they're ready to come into the courtroom and they'll start what we call voir dire. And so depending on the type of trial we're having, depends on how many jurors are kind of sitting up in that jury box. You have typically 12 jurors in a criminal case and then 8 extra people because each party gets 4 strikes. They get to, at the end of it, after everybody's asked their questions, made sure that they would be a fit juror, they get to just knock out 4 each. So then we're down to the 12. And the questions for voir dire range from, especially in criminal cases, do you know the sheriff? Do you know any of the sheriffs? Do you know any of the witnesses? Have you ever been a victim of a crime sometimes? Just kind of depends on the case and what the underlying factors are in that case.
So when that jury starts then, or that trial starts, who stays in? You say you have 4, you and 3 others that work there. One person stay in, 2 people stay in, because you still have other work to do. So
Correct.
how far behind do you get when it's a 3 or a 5 day?
Not very far behind because one clerk will be in the courtroom at all times. And then we're in the office just doing our daily work. So the morning of the jury trial is when we are all on. And by the afternoon, we're caught up. We're a small county, so we work pretty efficiently in getting things done.
Fitzy, what's your relationship like with, who's Shannon's counterpart in Barron County? Ha!
No,
You're wrong.
Sharon.
Sharon Millerman. Thank you. I
hope she's not watching.
Yeah, hope she's not either. I had Shannon, and it wasn't Shannon.
Yeah.
Sharon Millerman. And I have a great relationship with their clerk of court and their staff. I mean, we don't interact a lot.
I was just gonna, that was what I was going to lead to. Is there a relationship between a sheriff's office and the clerk? Or it's not really, we'll talk to them once in a while, but nothing important.
No, except that they're the keeper of a lot of information. So when we need to know something, we can go up there and talk to them. But we work with them on restraining orders, and I just worked with Sharon on talking about restraining orders, because all restraining orders go through the clerk of court's office. That's probably the busiest thing it's probably not the busiest. It's probably the busiest, what I think is the busiest thing that they do. But anybody that wants to get a restraining order, if you don't like your neighbor, we'll go back to your neighbor in the fence, Ben. You got to go get a restraining order. You got to go see Shannon or Sharon at the clerk of court's office and get that. And we worked on some, just because you want one doesn't mean you're going to get one. And we worked on that wording with our clerk of court's office to try to eliminate some of that. Because if I'm a cop on the street and I say, if you don't like Ben, go get a restraining order. Well, that's not how it exactly works. Just because you want something doesn't mean you get it. And so we had to change the wording. You may be granted it, and it may be filed, and and you got to pay money to get one, and you got to do this and that. So it's not as easy as getting a restraining order, but all restraining orders go through the clerk of court's office. And so they do a great job up there in my building and in Washburn County. I mean, they're rock solid, and they got to be there, because if they don't input it right away, then people like you call and say, where are the notes? And victims follow it, and suspects follow it, and family members follow it. So technology is a good thing, but it also is a bad thing, and because people demand their information right away. Well, court ended 5 minutes ago. What do you mean you don't have the paperwork done? Well, I got other things in my life to do. So, so I would guess it's just as frustrating.
So real quick, that was something we talked about a few weeks ago. So just to be clear, I did not file a restraining order, and nobody filed it. That was a scenario. It was an analogy. I don't want Huffington Post, CNN writing a story on this now. And I remember that conversation. It was a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. We were talking about restraining orders, and you were talking about it is really bogging down a lot of that. So, Shannon, are you seeing an increase, or if not, ballpark, I'm not going to hold you to it, but, ballpark how much time that takes in terms of volume of restraining orders in Washburn?
In Washburn County, we get maybe 3 a week. It kind of goes in ebbs and flows. We'll get slammed with them 3 in a day, every day that week. It just kind of depends on sometimes the full moon. Sometimes it's just, you don't know. And those people are typically all pro se. So they don't come in with any attorney. So, we get them, what type of restraining order do you want? Do you want domestic? Do you want harassment, child abuse, an individual at risk? We have many of them. Some of them are no cost. Some of them do cost a filing fee. Just making sure their whole paperwork is correct. It goes to the judge for review. She grants it. She denies it. And then we get it on for a hearing. We got to get it to the sheriff's department for service if it's granted.
Sure. So Fitzy had just mentioned that there isn't really a need for daily update communication between a sheriff's office or the sheriff, I'll just say sheriff, and the clerk of court. The other two of that, kind of that three-headed monster, and the heads, of course, being department heads of sheriff, is also the district attorney and the judge. What is, from a clerk of courts, not yours, this isn't, you and Aaron Markell, the DA, and Angie Witten, the judge, but that position, is it imperative to have a good working relationship and daily communication type thing with a DA and with a judge? Or we're kind of a standalone thing. We're there if you need us. We know what we're doing. We don't really need to have a daily or a communication very often.
No, we work really, our office is small, and all of our offices are together. So we all work together. There are programs that the district attorney's office offers through the criminal justice coordinator. So then we need to make sure we're talking to them about who came in, who would be eligible for these programs, those kinds of things. And then we work really well with the sheriff, with the jail staff. Typically, we see them numerous times during the day. Who's in for court, who needs to come to court.
Oh, sure.
So.
Yeah, so that's right, because you're the one that has to do. So if there is a jury trial and there's somebody in jail that needs to appear, that's the jail and your office, right?
Correct. That
coordinate that and when they're coming in and when they need to leave. Oh, I didn't realize that. Fitzy, I know. You know.
I know.
I didn't know that.
And the defendant, and that kind of brings us back to the jury trial, is that we have to work with the jail. If the defendant's in jail and say some witnesses are in jail, then we need to have more bailiffs and they're usually instead of a civilian bailiff, which is what we typically use, if the defendant's in jail or in custody or a witness is, then we typically have somebody from the law enforcement staff there as a bailiff to handle those parties.
What is did you say civilian bailiff?
Correct.
Can anybody do this?
You can.
And how does somebody do this? And what do they do?
You basically apply through the sheriff's department to be a civilian bailiff. Yeah. And they are people who keep track of the jurors, make sure they get their potty breaks or their smoke breaks, they get snacks. They aren't talking to people who are involved in the trial. They are making sure that they're not running amok or using their phones to research things, making sure their deliberations are secure, just stuff like that.
Is it a paid position?
It is.
And do you get a gun?
No.
But you can do that. They're
not even a taser.
That's fine, because I hate guns. I mean, fine, everybody has them. That's great, wonderful, but I don't like them. So that's actually a benefit for me. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was such thing as a civilian bailiff.
Right. That's what we have, too. They're always looking for subs. So, yeah.
We'll have to find it. Okay. I'm going to look into that.
They can call you, and you can just do it any Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. You can't do it on Tuesday because we do our show. But
I can do it live from there. It's fine. But what are the biggest misconceptions, Shannon, when either people call or stop in when it comes to the clerk of court's office? Either they think that you do or we didn't know that you did this. What are the biggest misconceptions, you think?
Legal advice. People come to us all the time. Oh, what about this? What about this? Like, we can't, unfortunately, statute tells us we can't give you legal advice. We try to help you as much as we can, kind of point you in a good direction, give you some referrals to some attorney pro bono work organizations that they have out there. But yeah, legal advice is, we say it probably 100 times a day. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you, because my staff and I are very, we want to help everybody, but we just can't.
Do you do you have it just printed out and taped on your window?
It is.
And you still just keep pointing to it.
They're just like, well, I'm not asking legal advice. I'm just asking a question. It's construing legal advice. What does my child custody order say? And we tell them, and they're like, well, does that mean that I can do this? I'm like, no, can't.
Nope. I can just basically reread what is written, but that's all I can do, right?
Correct.
I thought you said you have three others that work there. I thought there were 5, or at one point there were 5, wasn't there?
No, we have 3.5. So Amanda Schaefer is my chief deputy clerk of court. She handles criminal and juveniles. And then I have Tanya Haremza, who handles family and civil. And then Stacia Cross handles small claims, traffic forfeitures. And then I have Kylie Williams, who works over the summer, and she is our file clerk.
That has to be a hard job they've been there for a while, haven't they?
Correct.
That would have to be a difficult job to train. When you hire a new person,
it is.
I would just assume that that's not a 2-week course.
No.
Holy cow. That would be...
It takes about a year to really get into it, especially in a small office like ours, where you have to cross-train everybody. So, yes, Amanda's great at criminal and juvenile. She knows that backwards and forwards. But she also has to dabble in small claims or family cases, because you never know who's coming to the counter. And Tanya may be in court, so then we need to help that person. So cross-training, it takes about a year to really get.
I would think so. Fitzy, obviously you know everything about all of this stuff already.
I know more than I thought. That's what I'm impressed with.
Is there any if do you have a question that you don't want to ask? What's your name?
Sharon Millerman.
Okay. Now you have somebody else on, so now you're gonna ask her.
No, I mean I admire our clerk of court's office. I agree. We've lost some clerk of courts, and it takes a year because they have to be, and they have to know everything, every part of court, they have to sit in there all day long and listen to some of these civil cases, which are nauseating. And I just feel bad for them that they have to sit there all day long in court. And I can get up and walk out court security, or whatever we have to do,
Sure.
I can sit in there for entertainment for a half hour and say, this is the most boring thing I've ever heard. And then I can walk out.
Yeah.
But the clerk of court can't leave at all until the judge dismisses, I just feel so bad for him some days. I mean, some of it's very interesting, but you don't have those interesting cases very often.
Oh, sure. They're not all Johnny Depp trials.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just feel bad for them that they have to sit there all day and they can't be on their phone and they can't search Facebook and they can't, entertain themselves. And so it's, I feel bad for them.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, I think feels the same way or echoes that a little bit with her reaction there.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
When there's a jury trial and it goes, they're deliberating until 10 at night, because that happens. They're hoping that maybe we get that done. Do you guys have to stay for that?
Correct.
Like just one person, like you draw straws, or you're up, your turn, or you were saying before that if this is under like Amanda, it's under her thing, or how does that work? Like who do you all stay, or who has to stay?
Usually one or two of us will stay, just to help clean up afterwards too. But usually whoever the clerk is who's handling that and myself will stay. Just kind of depends on the trial. Sometimes we get invested in some of these, just like the Johnny Depp trial, and so you kind of want to see what the outcome is. But typically one or two of us, or I'm always there.
Have you been watching the Johnny Depp trial at all?
I have.
Have you? No. Yeah, I know Fitzy hasn't because he's boring, but that is so fascinating, and I have learned so much about how boring a lot and repetitive a lot of the stuff is, because I watch movies and Law and Order, and then you actually get to watch like how it really goes, and the questions for when somebody's up and how they have to go through all of these things, and it's come on. But it's been fascinating. I really enjoy it, but I've actually learned a ton about the court, or how that works, the jury trial works, just by watching that trial. It's so fascinating.
Right. It's a lot more real than Law and Order. A lot more real.
Well, I suppose, because it is real. Yeah. County clerk of court. It took me 2 years to get those right. How many calls or how many times do you have people come up to your office there and think that you're the county clerk?
Hourly. Between that and the Register of Deeds.
What do they do?
They do birth certificates, death certificates.
What's a big difference between that and a restraining order or a jury trial?
Right.
Maybe they're just lost.
People go anywhere and ask the first person they see. They don't like to read signs and buildings. They just go to the first office they can see and say, hey, where do I get my driver's license picture taken? Or how do I get a passport? Or how do I file a restraining order? Yeah,
and in Washburn County, if you come in probably one of the kind of that main entrance there on the north side, that would be the county clerk's office. So they're kind of like the reception for like the info. Like you go to an airport and there's the big kiosk in the middle, like information. Everybody just goes there. But on the second floor, let's see, there's the judge's office in Washburn, but that's, kind of over to one side. The DA's office is kind of hidden. I think the victim coordinator's office is up there, but then it's just you guys, right? Of course, and you're the only one to the window. I mean, that's on that main hall, so you must get a ton of people. You act like the information office.
Correct. Yeah, we get a lot of people who stop in to see Tammy, our victim witness coordinator, or Stephanie, our criminal justice coordinator, or the district attorney's office, and we're like, yeah, keep going to your right. It's down around the corner.
Larry says that you get paid good money. Would you agree with that? He didn't like I'm not saying that they do their job, but it's just boring sitting there. I'm not saying they not doing their job, but I'm just saying it's just boring to sit. Or the case where I can't believe this guy fought this ticket. I was driving the car, I fled from the officer, but I'm pleading not guilty, even though they caught me in the car that I was speeding from. And then they plead not guilty. We have a big trial based on this. I mean, it's such a, they can't say it out loud, so I'll say it for them. It's such a waste of resources. It's their right, but yeah. Right. It's just a waste of time to do that and they have to sit there all day and listen to this guy say, well, yeah, I was driving. Well, yeah, I did flee from the cops, but I don't think I should have got caught. It's just, and so they get to sit through all of those trials. So
yeah, I was going to ask about that. You had brought that up, Shannon, that it was like someone with a speeding ticket, a jury trial. So that was more of an extreme scenario where it's a speeding ticket, but there's a lot more things. I didn't even know that if you got a speeding ticket, you could, and now it makes sense. I guess I never thought about it. You could request a jury trial for a speeding ticket.
Correct. You pay the fee, you demand a jury. We have to produce it. So
Fitzy,
right.
how much is 7 over? Like what is it, 1 through 10? Isn't there that first bracket?
Right.
Ballpark.
$150 ish. 75, 175.
175, 30.
Well,
there you go.
There you go. See, that's awesome that she knows and you don't, Fitzy. That's great.
Well, I don't do police work.
Well, I get all the tickets. I get all the money. So I
sure.
see that on a daily basis.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to agree with the man on that one. See, it's $150. Again, that's fine. It's your right. That's how this works. How many, just out of curiosity, what percentage, like less than 1% or 12 a year, how many are just speeding ticket and that was it, that go to a jury trial? How many of those do you see?
I have not seen a speeding ticket in a couple years.
Oh, good.
The last forfeiture jury trial I remember was cows at large.
That what?
Was cows at large. And that was probably 7 years ago, I think.
I don't know what that is.
Cows were in the road, ran away. Somebody let the cows out. They get a ticket.
You get a ticket for your cows get out?
Well, sure. Roaming dog, roaming animal. You got to be in control of your animals.
Oh, I don't know. That's neighbors being neighbors. I mean, oh my goodness! Like growing up where we grew up, the cows were out all of the time. You just look out the window. There's cows in the yard, and Dad's freaking out because his yard, man. Dad's he kind of has this little OCD thing going on, and is ruining his yard. But they don't call the cops. They call the neighbors and say, "Hey, your cows are out," and they come and get them all back in. That's what you do.
I think this was habitual and causing a lot of traffic issues.
Oh, okay.
When you don't fix your fence, or we tell you, hey, fix your fence, and you don't, then we're going to give you a ticket next time. So we've written the same thing. I mean, you can't let them. You're in charge of. You can't let them, and people are very particular about their property. And I wish people would just call their neighbors and settle their disputes. But I mean, we got a call this morning because the kid wouldn't go to school. The mom called the cops. I'm like, this is ridiculous that we're going to this because your kid doesn't want to go to school. So,
well, did the kid ask for a restraining order?
No, but we told her, we gave her the speech. If you would like to file a restraining order, it's
Sorry, I don't mean making light of that, but again, we have to have a little levity, or that's how I process things, or I'll kind of freak out. Lastly, I want to ask you, Shannon, about COVID, about how that impacted the Clerk of Court's office, and then is it past that now? And has anything changed, like maybe new standard operating procedures? Or we found out that through COVID, we can have one person a week do this, or work from home, or how did that all work out, the whole thing with the Clerk of Court's office regarding COVID?
Our court system kind of went slow for about 2 weeks. And then we figured out Zoom and got some what we call Zoom rooms set up in the courthouse for people to appear remotely into the courtroom, and that has been a huge success for us. Throughout the court system is all finding ways to use Zoom to be more efficient in our court calendars and stuff. As far as workload, it never really slowed down.
Kind of find out people still commit crimes, right?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, kind of find out people still speed, they still commit crimes, they still need to pay tickets. That doesn't go away.
Nope, that did not slow down at all. So we were having people work from home, which with e-filing really helped us. And then we did some back scanning of old cases so that they would appear on CCAP as well. So it just gave us some time to get up to speed and get everything onto CCAP so that it just makes things a little more efficient when we're searching for cases. And so we were able to really empty out one of our vaults, because with the new Health and Human Services building, the government service building, we had to get rid of one of our evidence vaults and file vaults. So we had to really, in this time, figure out where those were going to go and make room for all of that.
Oh, okay. When you said get rid of it, I'm like, you just, throw out all that evidence. We had to get rid of it.
Some of it you do because
Really?
retention. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. We actually had your dad up asking about some old cases from the early 70s and, the way they labeled things and stuff. So it was crazy. We found an old gun and we found some drugs. We found some,
look there, the missing piece of evidence in that trial. I guess he was innocent. Oh, he was hanged.
No, it was
put to
all
death
stuff
3 years ago.
We don't keep that evidence. The only evidence we keep is stuff that was given in court as an exhibit. The sheriff's department is still responsible for any exhibits or evidence that isn't exhibited in court. So
Fitzy, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm aware. Does Dad still? I know Dad, the former sheriff, Ben Dryden, my dad you had a relationship with him. I mean, he would go. That was his dad when he was a sheriff. I've heard that he still, even been retired for over 3 years, still finds his way, makes his rounds in the courthouse. Is that true?
Yes. He does. We enjoy it. He always has some great stories. He checks up on us. He asks us about our kids.
Aww.
How things are going. He genuinely cares, and it was always really nice. I always really enjoyed working with him.
See, she didn't say that about you, Fitzy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And after today, I don't think who is going to share. All right. I have one more thing I just thought of. So when I request a criminal complaint before the e-file and everything, we get charged per page. And I've literally asked Shannon this before. So I think I already know the answer, but I just want to bring it up anyway. So you would have to find the file and then, take the paperclip off. Then you have to fax it and do all that. So it takes time, etc. So if it's 30 pages and it's, I think, $1.25, $1.50 a page, something like that, it could be like $45, $50 for one criminal complaint if there's all that stuff. Now with e-file and everything, it's just one PDF document. I request it. You just drag the PDF over into an email. You send it. So why is there still a page charge? And who do I talk to voice a complaint?
Your legislators.
Legislators. Oh.
They set by statute what we charge for our documents.
Okay. All right, Fitzy, you have anything else?
I don't. I appreciate all you do, and thank you and your staff for everything you do in the Clerk of Court's office to keep us running smoothly.
She's both.
Thank you. You as well.
I'm just kidding. No, it's Washburn County, Larry. Yeah. So, you have something coming up. You brought it at the beginning of the show, Fitzy, this Sunday. What is it again?
Oh,
pancake thing?
The Barron County Dairy Breakfast just outside of Elmina on Highway P. I'll be flipping pancakes 6 to 7:30, and I'll have the best around. So.
All right, Shannon, what do you have coming up this week? Obviously, work. Anything coming up? Any events?
Tonight I have my nephew's baseball game. The Shellick Lakers take on the Siren Dragons in a playoff game. So excited for that.
Can we bet on that stuff? Is that legal to bet on those things? Because I'll take Shellick. I don't know. I don't know how betting stuff works in terms of what's legal and what isn't.
I take Shellick too.
Yeah, I'll take Shellick.
Yeah.
Fitzy just took Siren, and we're betting $1. So there you go.
All right, deal with Dave. Wait, we have to bring up Dave Wilson.
Oh, there we go.
There, we have to just say his name. Sorry, you have to work with him, Shannon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give me something. Oh yeah. Tell me about Dave. He's the worst, right?
No, she can't comment like
no,
that.
That's not legal advice. You can say.
That's not legal advice.
He's always present in our community. I work in our community. It's something that I was taught from the get-go in the Clerk of Court's office is to be active in your community. And I always see Dave at multiple things. So
wasn't at the firework fundraiser.
I'm sorry.
No, he wasn't. It's all right. We'll still get his money.
That's right. He's there on the 4th of July, though, or the 3rd, keeping us safe.
Yeah, reaping the rewards. And Jerusha, you've known Jerusha, my wife, for, at least 10 years now.
Correct.
Is she good at her job?
She is. Okay. I really enjoy going to work because Washburn County just, we have birthday parties together. We have lunch together sometimes. We have, just coffee, just is just a great group of people to work with, everybody.
I love it. Thank you for everything that you do. Do you have any plans on not running again? When's your next election up? Is it this year?
It is.
And it's every 2 years,
I turned in my
right?
paperwork today. So
Good for you. It's every 2 years, isn't it? Or four? Four.
It's the sheriff, the coroner, and I.
So planning on running, any plans of retiring soon?
I thought about it. I'm a new grandma, so I thought about
Congrats.
going out west. But no, I really enjoy my job and my community, so I'll be here for another 4 years, hopefully.
That girl. Thanks so much for coming on, Shannon.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day, guys.
You too.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
too.
Thank you. For Barron County is Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the outside and on the inside of your home or business. So give Brian a call today at 715-520-2271. Special thank you to our guest today, Washburn County Clerk of Circuit Court, Shannon Anderson. As we sign off, remember, it's the little things that make a big difference. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.